You've been told you're sensitive, that you feel too much, that you need to toughen up or grow thicker skin. But what if sensitivity isn't your problem? What if you're not just an empath? You're a high-frequency empath, and the overwhelm you experience isn't weakness. It's a sign of something far more significant. The difference between general sensitivity and high-frequency empathic ability is like the difference between hearing music and being able to hear frequencies beyond normal human range. One is common. The other changes everything about how you experience reality. Today, I'm revealing the 5 unmistakable signs that you carry high-frequency empathic energy, why most empath content doesn't apply to you, and the specific practices that help you master this ability instead of being overwhelmed by it. If you've ever felt like standard empath advice doesn't quite fit your experience, this video will finally explain why. Before I share the 5 signs, you need to understand what separates high-frequency empaths from general empathic sensitivity. Regular empaths feel other people's emotions. They pick up on moods, sense tension in rooms, and often absorb feelings from those around them. This is empathy amplified, and it's more common than most people realize. High-frequency empaths operate on a completely different level. You perceive the energetic truth beneath the emotions. You sense people's potential alongside their pain. You pick up on the frequency of places, objects, and collective energies, not just individual feelings. When I say frequency, I mean the vibrational quality of energy, not just what someone feels, but the entire energetic signature they're broadcasting. Think of it as the difference between hearing someone's words versus sensing the intention, history, and trajectory behind those words all at once. This means you're processing information on multiple levels simultaneously. The emotional layer, yes, but also the energetic layer, the intentional layer, and sometimes the timeline layer, sensing where things are heading before they manifest. This is why standard empath advice often falls short for you. You're not just sensitive to emotions. You're sensitive to frequency, and frequency carries information that emotions alone don't convey. Now let me show you the specific signs that indicate you carry this high-frequency empathic ability. The first sign you're a high-frequency empath is that you feel other people's potential, not just their pain. Regular empaths absorb suffering. They feel someone's sadness, anxiety, or anger as if it were their own. High-frequency empaths feel something additional. You see who someone could become alongside who they currently are. This creates a unique form of discomfort. You meet someone and simultaneously feel their current struggles and their unrealized capabilities. You sense the gap between where they are and where they're meant to be, and you feel compelled to bridge that gap somehow. This is why high-frequency empaths become exhausted in relationships. You're not just supporting someone through their problems. You're holding space for their transformation, while they may not even be aware transformation is possible. You stay in difficult relationships longer than you should because you see potential that hasn't manifested. You invest in people others have given up on because you perceive what they could become. You feel frustrated when someone settles for less than their frequency suggests is possible. This ability is both gift and burden. The gift is that you can genuinely see people's highest possibilities. The burden is that you can't force anyone to reach for their potential, no matter how clearly you perceive it. If you've been called naive for believing in someone, or overly optimistic about people's capacity for change, you might actually be reading their frequency accurately. You're seeing what's possible, not what's currently manifesting. Does this resonate? If you've ever felt like you see something in someone that they don't see in themselves, comment potential below. This is one of the clearest markers of high-frequency empathic ability. The second sign is that your presence triggers emotional releases in others, often without you doing or saying anything specific. People tell you things they've never told anyone. They cry around you unexpectedly. They have breakthroughs, realizations, or emotional releases simply by being in your energy field. And they don't even understand why. This happens because high-frequency empaths emit what I call a catalytic frequency. Your energetic field doesn't just receive information. It creates an environment where suppressed emotions and hidden truths can no longer stay hidden. You're like an energetic truth serum. When people enter your field, their defenses soften. The masks they wear become uncomfortable. The emotions they've been suppressing rise to the surface. This can be confusing for you because you're not trying to do anything. You're just existing. But your existence itself creates change in others. Some people are drawn to this quality in you. They seek you out when they need to process something, even if they don't consciously understand why they want to be around you. Others become uncomfortable and pull away because your presence makes them feel exposed. You notice that strangers confide in you. Friends have emotional releases during casual conversations with you. People have aha moments or breakthroughs when you're present. The challenging part of this sign is that you're constantly processing other people's releases. Their emotions move through your field as they're released, and if you don't know how to clear your energy, you end up carrying their residue. Practice the energetic clearing technique. Here's a simple practice for after you've been in social situations where you've triggered releases in others. Find a quiet space. Place your hands over your heart. Take 3 slow breaths. On each exhale, visualize the emotional residue that doesn't belong to you leaving your field, like dust being swept away by wind. Say silently or aloud, I release what isn't mine. I return to my own frequency. Repeat until you feel lighter. This takes less than 2 minutes, but prevents energetic buildup. This is why high-frequency empaths need regular solitude. Not because you're antisocial, but because you need space to clear the energetic exchanges that naturally occur when you're around others. The third sign separates high-frequency empaths from general sensitivity more than any other. You absorb collective energy, not just individual emotions. Regular empaths feel the person next to them. High-frequency empaths feel the neighborhood, the city, the collective field. You pick up on mass emotional events before seeing news coverage. You sense shifts in collective consciousness as they're happening. This means you experience emotions that don't belong to you or anyone in your immediate environment. You wake up feeling collective grief after a tragedy you haven't heard about yet. You feel unexplained anxiety when political tensions rise in regions you're not consciously tracking. You sense collective hope or despair as undercurrents in your daily existence. Real examples. You might have felt inexplicable sadness during major natural disasters before the news reached you. You sensed the collective stress during the pandemic, not just personally, but as if the anxiety of people you'd never meet was somehow pulsing through your awareness. During major celebrations or sporting events, you felt waves of collective joy from cities you don't follow. This ability can be deeply disorienting if you don't understand what's happening. You feel intense emotions but can't trace them to any personal source. You might think you're unstable or that something is wrong with you because your emotional state seems disconnected from your actual life circumstances. High-frequency empaths who don't understand this sign often seek therapy for anxiety or depression that doesn't quite fit clinical patterns. The emotions are real, but they're not entirely personal. You're processing collective frequencies alongside your own experience. When you feel an emotion that seems disproportionate to your circumstances, ask yourself, is this mine, someone else's, or the collective's? Just that question creates enough separation to help you identify the source. If it's collective energy, you can acknowledge it without needing to process it fully. You can witness it, perhaps send intention toward it, but you don't have to carry it as a personal burden. If you've ever felt collective energy before seeing the news, comment "collective" below. You're not imagining it. High-frequency empaths notice that animals behave unusually around them. Pets seek them out specifically, even when other people are present. Wild animals approach with less fear. Animals that are usually aggressive become calm. Animals that are usually shy become curious. This happens because animals perceive energy directly without the filter of social conditioning. They sense your frequency and respond to it instinctively. They're drawn to the harmonic resonance of high-frequency energy because it feels safe and coherent to their nervous systems. You might be at a friend's house and their usually aloof cat curls up specifically in your lap. You're at a park and birds land closer to you than to others. You encounter a dog that typically barks at strangers and it immediately relaxes in your presence. These aren't coincidences, they're responses to your energetic field. Children respond similarly, and often more dramatically. Babies stare at you with unusual intensity, that long, knowing gaze that seems to see right through you. Young children approach you even when they're normally shy with strangers. Kids who are acting out become calmer in your presence. Children seem to trust you immediately in ways that surprise their parents. Parents have probably said things to you like, "She never goes to strangers like that," or "He's usually so fussy, but he's so calm with you." These observations aren't flattery, they're confirmation of your frequency. Like animals, children haven't fully developed the social filters that cause adults to ignore energetic information. They perceive frequency directly and respond to what they sense rather than what they're told. They haven't yet learned to distrust their intuitive perception. This sign confirms that your empathic ability isn't imagination or wishful thinking. It's a perceivable frequency that other beings can detect and respond to. Animals and children validate your energetic reality in ways that adult humans, with all their social conditioning and mental filters, often don't. If you've ever doubted whether you're truly a high-frequency empath or just telling yourself a story, pay attention to how animals and children respond to you. They have no agenda. Personas or self-concepts can't fool them. They respond to raw frequency, and their consistent positive responses to you are evidence of what you carry. Has an animal ever responded to you in ways that surprised others? Has a child immediately trusted you despite being shy? Comment "Animals" below and share your experience. The fifth and final sign is what I call frequency overwhelm, and understanding this sign is crucial for learning to thrive with your ability. Regular empaths feel overwhelmed by emotions. High-frequency empaths feel overwhelmed by environments where the vibrational density is too thick, too chaotic, or too incongruent. You feel completely drained after being in a shopping mall, not because of the crowds, but because of the collective frequency of consumption and dissatisfaction. You feel physically sick in certain buildings without understanding why. You become inexplicably agitated in environments that look perfectly fine but feel energetically wrong. This overwhelm isn't about people's emotions. It's about the overall frequency of spaces, situations, and collective energies. You're sensitive to vibrational coherence, and when you enter environments with discordant energies, your system struggles to maintain its own frequency. This is why high-frequency empaths need specific environments to thrive. Not just quiet spaces, but spaces with clean, coherent energy. Nature typically provides this because its frequency is uncontaminated by human emotional residue. The overwhelm also explains why you have strong preferences that seem irrational to others. You can't explain why certain restaurants feel wrong, why certain neighborhoods make you anxious, why certain stores drain you completely. You're responding to frequency, not aesthetics or logic. This doesn't mean avoiding the world. It means learning to clear your field so you can participate fully without losing yourself. High-frequency empaths who isolate completely often find their ability becomes more overwhelming, not less, because they never develop the skill of maintaining their frequency while engaging with lower-frequency environments. Before entering environments you know are energetically challenging, try this. Visualize your energy field as a semi-permeable membrane. It allows information in so you can still sense and respond, but it doesn't absorb discordant frequencies. You're like a researcher observing a culture, not a sponge absorbing everything you encounter. This simple shift in intention can dramatically reduce overwhelm. If you recognized yourself in these 5 signs, the ability to feel potential, not just pain, the catalytic effect of your presence, your sensitivity to collective energy, the way animals and children respond to you, and the frequency of overwhelm you experience, you're not just sensitive. You're carrying a high-frequency empathic ability, and it has purpose. Your capacity to feel potential means you can help others see possibilities they've given up on. Your catalytic presence means you naturally create space for transformation. Your collective sensitivity means you're plugged into the larger field of human consciousness. Your animal and child magnetism confirms your frequency is perceivable. Your frequency overwhelm means you're designed to exist in higher vibrational environments. This isn't a disorder to be managed. It's an ability to be mastered. The key shift is moving from unconscious absorption to conscious choice. You don't have to feel everything. You don't have to process everyone's releases. You don't have to carry collective weight. You can learn to adjust your receptivity, to choose what you take in, and to clear what you've absorbed. Your immediate next step: here's one practice you can start today. Every morning before you leave your home, take 30 seconds to set your energetic intention. Say to yourself, "Today I choose what frequencies I absorb. I remain open to information without being overwhelmed by density. I serve from my strength, not from depletion." This simple daily practice begins the shift from reactive absorption to intentional engagement. High-frequency empaths who master their ability become incredible healers, teachers, leaders, and guides. Not because they learned techniques, but because they stopped fighting their natural frequency and started working with it intentionally. In the comments below, tell me which of these 5 signs hit hardest for you, and share one way your high-frequency empathic ability has shown up in your life that you hadn't recognized until now. If this video helped you understand yourself differently, subscribe for more content on mastering spiritual abilities. In my next video, I'm exploring the specific spirit animal that appears when you're about to level up spiritually, and what its presence means for your next phase of evolution. Your sensitivity isn't too much. You've just been operating at a frequency the world wasn't ready for. That's changing now.